Hey, it's Kley. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to do this bundle of parts into a baritone guitar. Let's go ahead and dive in. Alright, so the purpose of this is to have fun and experiment with something new and different that kind of inspires me into a new creative headspace. I found more and more it's nice to have something that's a little bit off the beaten path. And so what I'm going to experiment with today is a baritone guitar. Now, the main star of the show is actually this guy. This neck is an eBay special. It's like a $40, $50 neck. It has a very, very long scale length. It is 30 inches in scale length. Straight off of the press for 50 United States freedom dollars. It is kind of unbelievable what you can buy on the internet these days. Next, this body. This actually is a friend of mine has a CNC, and he had some old deck boards in his house, and he's kind of a woodworker, and I kind of was joking with him one day and said, hey, how cool would it be to turn those into a guitar? Well, sure enough, he has done just that. And then I've just kind of got a smattering of parts. I took a look in my parts drawer and grabbed the stuff that I thought would be most relevant. Let's get started assembling. I ran into what is my first hiccup issue with this little build, and that is that I have snapped the heads off of 2 of my screws. I don't know if I pre-drilled holes. It was going in fine. They were pretty tight though, and it's going to be a little bit annoying, but I think what I probably need to do is add an additional screw right here. Just drill through the plate. Because, yeah, the neck is not being pulled in properly on this side. There's a little tiny, we need that pressure to suck it up and in. So, yeah, that's kind of annoying. In hindsight, especially when we're dealing with hardwoods, like this maple in the neck, you want to really make sure you're pre-drilling with probably the right sized hole, and I might also even try lubricating the screws. You can put some lubrication on the threads, and that might help. So we're going to need to do some surgery to get those screws out. Probably plug it with some dowels and drill new holes. Alright, I'm not throwing in the towel. My strategy here is I'm taking a drill bit and I'm drilling a series of holes in a circle around this implanted screw. Alright, well, we got the neck off. It's not pretty. Had to drill a bunch of holes, and then it basically just came out. So alright, so I got a 1/2 inch dowel, I got a 1/2 inch drill bit, and I got some 1/2 inch holes. The neck is done. We're going to plug these holes in the body next. Okay, so I've got the plugs installed here, and it really wasn't so hard. I ended up doing 1/2 inch dowel, just drilled the holes, I put a bunch of glue in there, inserted the dowel, and I used a Japanese pull saw to cut it. And then here on the body, these came out pretty good as well. I got a little freaked out with this one because I wasn't sure, where I was drilling. I was concerned that I would blow out this portion here of the neck joint. So I ended up not going all the way through here. I think once this dries, that's not going to cause a problem. I'll have 4 strong spots to join this neck. out to the workshop and get another screw here. It doesn't match exactly, but it's the right length and it fits pretty well, and it's going to do just fine. So we got 4 screws holding the neck on. It's nice and snug. There's no gap. It actually cleaned up real well. It is definitely a little bit of damage here. It's not perfect, but overall, this neck is bolted on nice and securely. Not going to be the most perfect of neck installations, but overall I'm quite happy with it. Alright, I dug around a bit in the parts drawer, found this old 3-way switch. There's an Alpha 500K volume pot, and then I got this 3-way plate for telly that's in chrome. I think what I'm probably going to do is 3-way switch, volume pot, output jack. Alright, so a little bit of decision time here. Primary question I'm thinking about is whether or not I want to put a pickguard on this thing. On one hand, I do kind of enjoy the way things look with this setup. Be something like this. A little bit of chrome hardware, you know, from the neck pickup, the bridge, and the control plate. I think that looks really nice. I like the showing the grain of the wood of the body. I think it looks pretty cool. Now I do have this wire route here, which maybe would call for a pickguard, but I also think it's kind of cool. So I am going to proceed without a pickguard, but that is something I could add at a later time without a lot of fuss. But definitely leave me a comment down in the comment section below. What would you do? Do you think a pickguard would look great on this? Or do you agree with me and do you like it the way it is with the kind of natural beauty of the body shining through? got strings on this bad boy. Check this out. It makes noise. So this is fun. All right. I have a little Allen wrench. I use this tool to adjust the saddle height as I go. I'm just trying to get into a rough ballpark. It needs to be ever so slightly curved to follow the fretboard radius, but I'm not too worried about that. Right now what I'm mostly focused on is the action of the strings. Now, it's a baritone. These are really thick strings. It's a really long scale length. It's pretty trippy, actually. But I'm just trying to get them set into a generally good place. So I basically do this by feel, where I play the guitar for a little bit, and I just make observations about where the strings are at, and which ones feel right and which ones don't feel right. And I got a couple of initial observations and thoughts. First of all, this thing sounds and feels really cool. The tension feels great. Couple of problems. First of all, this nut is sitting really, really low. And so I'm not 100% sure if that's going to work, but it seems okay. But it's like there's not a lot of clearance going on right there at that first fret on this high E string. So I might need to shim it up a tiny little bit. I currently just have it friction press fit in there. There's no glue, so I can change that no problem. Next thing is I'm noticing that the orientation of the strings coming out of this bridge saddle it's like this high E string. It's almost like the neck is just ever so slightly pitched this way, because there's plenty of room here, but it gets really skinny right here. There's not, like, it's almost, if I press down at this top fret, it can work, but it's like right on the edge. So I don't know if that's an issue with how the neck is seated in the neck pocket, or if it is an issue with where the bridge is located. Then finally, I noticed that the intonation is way off. If I play like an open string and then the 12th fret, it's way off. So that would be adjusting these guys forward or backwards. So all these things are setup related, and I'm just going to kind of tinker with this bit by bit till we get her dialed in where we want her. Another issue, these tuners that I have on this guitar right now, these are actually meant to be 3 on a side. So there's a little bit of a tiny gap here in the middle. It's the only way I was able to get the tuners in. And second of all, they get pretty close to one another because these keys are actually meant to have a little more space. But I think I'm going to leave it for now. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, well, this is kind of an embarrassing mistake, but the intonation was really, really off. And I've got an issue where the strings are not quite straight. So this body is a Telecaster body, and I'm putting a baritone guitar neck on it, which is pretty cool. However, I didn't really think about scale length like I probably should have. So let's take a look at this neck. I got a tape measure out. It's right here against where the strings would contact. You can see the 15 inches is right here on the 12th fret, so that makes it a 30-inch scale length guitar. And if we go over here to 30, you can see I'm way off. I'm at like 28 3/4. So realistically speaking, I probably need to move the point of contact of these saddles to about here where that 30-inch line is, and then I can move it backwards from there. I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to leave the neck where it is, because actually I am not 100% sure that this bridge is even exactly straight and square. So we're going to move the bridge back and shift it down just ever so slightly. And it is going to mess with the tone of the pickups. We're actually going to be moving the bridge pickup quite far away. Yeah, might be a problem. But we're going to take it one step at a time. Not going to mess with that problem right now. We're just going to get this bridge moved to the correct spot and go from there. Alright, if I place the bridge so that the saddles, with pretty much their most maximum point of adjustment, is here. This is right on the 30-inch line, wherever that point of contact would be. And I've also shifted it this way ever so slightly. And this ground wire hold probably needs to be rerouted. Maybe these holes filled. Could probably cover it with a pick guard. And in a perfect world, I probably would take the pickup out and reroute this hole, move it backwards closer to the bridge. And maybe it'll be a happy accident. Maybe this pickup will sound pretty cool here. I don't know, we're gonna find out. We're gonna go for it. Alright, I'm adjusting the truss rod. It requires quite a lot of adjustment. I'm finding that if I turn this way in a clockwise fashion, it tightens the truss rod, causing it to bend down this way. If I move the truss rod in this direction to the left or in a counterclockwise direction, it will actually cause the neck to tilt forward. So I need to tighten it a little bit because I got some pretty heavy strings, so I'm turning it clockwise. Alright, I've got here an old credit card. I'm going to use this as my shim. Just taking a kitchen scissors and cutting it. Sometimes I got to do a couple of tries to get it to fit right, but this one's pretty good to start with. Let's see how that does me. Okay, the adjustment to the nut has helped tremendously. I've got some nut files that I'm using to get it dialed in on this end. And then I'm also taking another Allen wrench and I'm adjusting the height of these bridge saddles. And again, I want it to have just a tiny little bit of curvature to match the radius. You don't want it to be perfectly flat. But I'm also doing this by feel. So I'll just kind of play each of the strings and, you know, all up in different areas of the neck to get it to be comfortable. Alright guys, there you have it. This is my wacky 30-inch custom build baritone guitar. This thing is kooky. It is a ton of fun to play. Definitely a very different creative instrument that's going to really draw some different tones and creative inspirations out of me. The scale length is very long. The strings are very thick. It definitely feels more like a bass guitar, really, than a regular guitar, just with how long everything feels and how thick everything is. I would bet we're very, very close to like a Fender 6 bass guitar, whatever those are called. I'll put a picture up on the screen. You guys know what I'm talking about, but that's definitely the range that we're in. I actually think these pickups being so clear work really, really well with this guitar. The positioning of the bridge pickup is not a problem to me. It certainly could be a little bit closer to give it more of a traditional bridge pickup feel, but actually some of that kind of almost middle pickup honk does not sound bad. And actually this is not that far away from where like a P-bass pickup would be, maybe a little bit further forward, but we're in the range. It feels good to play. Actually, this little, $50 made in China neck actually works really well. Needed a little bit of work to get it set up, and now that we're there, it actually plays great. Feels good. It looks good. Overall, I gotta say, this guitar is awesome, and I'm really thrilled to have it in my collection. If you guys are thinking about making a baritone build, please leave a comment down in the description below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe for more stuff like this, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, take care, bye-bye.